Content creators have the ability to get burnout really freaking fast. And I know this firsthand. Like, oh, I'm creating all this content all the time. I have to release this podcast episode or this YouTube video or this blog post or whatever. And then you hit a time where you're like, I just don't want to do it. That is called burnout. And today I'm going to teach you how to avoid content creation burnout so that your business doesn't suffer when you don't feel like doing anything. What is up, my people? If you are new here to my channel, I'm Jessica Stansberry, and I am a content marketing strategist teaching you how to create content that converts to sales so you can grow your business on autopilot. And so if that's something that sounds like something you want to do, you might want to hit subscribe. Just saying. Like I mentioned, when we set the expectations, even if the expectations are set by ourselves or by like standards of a platform to create content on a consistent basis, it can really be something we burn out on. You know, like, oh, I'm creating 3 YouTube videos a week. Oh, 3 weeks in and I'm like, whew, or 3 months in and I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep doing this. Or, you know, I want to create a podcast or whatever. And a few months in, you're like, huh, this is exhausting to create this content. I get it. I 100% get it because I've been there and done that. And it's something that happens with every content creator, whether you are a blogger or a podcaster or, you know, a video maker. Sounded like a candlestick maker, a YouTuber, you're just someone who's on social media and needs content. Either way, we can get really burnt out. And when we burn out, our business stops and our content creation stops. And so today I want to give you 3 ways to kind of avoid that burnout, but also prepare for if you do ever feel burnt out, your content not suffering. So let's just get into it. Yeah. All right, the first thing I want you to do, the very first thing, the very biggest thing in this list of 3 things that I need for you to do to avoid content creation burnout is to batch process your content. Now, this can look different for every platform you're batch processing for and for every single business. The way I batch process, how many I can batch process, all of that is very, dependent on the way I run my business and the type of business I have, the type of content I create. If you are creating, very professionally, like amazing content that has a lot of moving parts versus the talking head videos that I do, it's going to take you longer to create one than it does me. If I'm creating a 7-minute video, it might take me 9 minutes total to create that thing before editing. So you have to know like what your limits are and kind of what works best for you and your business and your content. But batching is a godsend, like literal godsend. So what batching is, for those of you who are like, what the crap are you talking about? Batching is the process of creating a bunch of content all at the same time. So right now I'm batching. Right now I'm creating content for the next 5 weeks all in one day. I'm recording all the videos. I'm creating all the content all in one day so that for the next 5 weeks, it's done and I don't have to worry about it. Now, it could be that you release 5 videos a week and you're batch processing them all, the week before, but you've got to come up with ways to batch process your content. Blog posts are the same way. Maybe you release 1 blog post a week and no videos. Then there's this magical formula where you can batch process all of these videos at one time and maybe even have months of content done and in the bank and ready so that you don't have to worry about it. There's no like way that you're not constantly having to reinvent the wheel every single week to create your content. It's already done. So you can't possibly get burnout because it's weeks and weeks, if not months, between when you're creating content. So batch process your content, whether that's recording videos, podcasting, blogging, social media, whatever, batch process it. It takes a little more planning time, but I promise it's worth it, especially when trying to avoid the burnout. The second thing I want you to do to avoid the content creator's burnout is to know your purpose. If you feel like you are just doing something because everybody else is doing it or because it's what you're supposed to do, you will burn out really quick. But if you know that there's a purpose behind it and you know that you have a greater purpose behind that content and you have a greater driving factor, then it's going to be a lot easier not to burn out and keep going on the train even when it feels a little bit hard. So like I say, just because I'm releasing 2 videos a week does not mean right now that that's perfect for you. So you need to figure out what your greatest position is in this and know the purpose behind it. Not just because Jessica said so, not just because this person said so or that person is doing it, but because you know that those videos are creating new ways for people to find you and you are excelling at that. So definitely know the purpose of the reason you're creating the content. It's not just because, right? The third thing that you can do to help avoid the content creator's burnout is to love the type of content you create. I love making videos. I don't love to watch myself all the time. I don't love all of that, but I like the game and I like knowing that I can set up my camera and talk to you guys at any given point, put it on YouTube and, help somebody. I love that. I also really love podcasting. So it's something that, I definitely work into my content strategy. But if I didn't love either one of those, I wouldn't be doing them. That kind of feels pointless, That's kind of my point. If you don't love creating YouTube videos, don't do it. If you don't love blogging, don't do it. If you don't love podcasting, don't do it. Now, that doesn't mean you might not hire somebody to blog for you based on a video. I do that all the time. But if you're not loving the content you're creating, you're going to burn out really fast because it doesn't feel good or aligned with you. All right, so there are 3 ways to avoid the content creator's burnout. Y'all, I get it. We all know how this feels. We all know, how it feels to be like, ugh, don't want to do that today. I just don't want to create more content. I don't want to write that blog post. I don't want to film that video. But these 3 ways will help you hit it head on and prepare so that you don't actually ever hit that point of burnout. And if you do, by batching and all of that stuff, you're prepared. So you may hit the point of burnout, but you've got content going for 3 weeks. So by the time it's ready to re-record or recreate, you're kind of done with the burnout part. So I hope this helped you guys. If it did, make sure to leave a comment below and hit the thumbs up on this video. And then also make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any other advice and tips with me every single week. Bye, y'all.